Okay, so if you have any question, any doubt from the previous classes, you can definitely ask. Or otherwise, as team has already given us the go-ahead signal, so we'll start and we'll complete this particular module about powder metallurgy. We are left with only the very last topic. Already this secondary operation already we have started in one of the classes. Okay, so today whatever is remaining, those things we'll discuss, and this will be the end of this particular module. So once this module is over, we'll be left with the last module that is basically about the surface finishing operation, and that too should be over like that is not a very lengthy one. Okay, and we should be able to cover it nicely. Okay, so then we'll start then. Okay, so in the if you recall the previous classes before class test one, class test two, and all. Okay, and there we are discussing about powder metallurgy operation, all the associated phenomena with powder metallurgy. Those things we have discussed, starting from the selection of your whatever is the powder metal that you need to use, and how we produce the metal powder, how to characterize them, what are different properties that influences the powder metallurgical part, when this powder metallurgical process will be kind of effective. Effective means economical and all. Okay, and what's under which consideration, like what are the like different capabilities it gives us. All those things already we have discussed, and the main steps which are involved, like starting from the production of metal powder to the main sintering process. Those things already we have discussed. So now today we'll be once again going to the secondary operation, various secondary operations which can be performed and which is generally performed in your powder metallurgical operation. This secondary operation, which sometimes may be kind of might be done towards the end of this particular operation, or maybe it might so happen that it has been done previously, or like just in the case of just to produce some other desirable properties to the final part. Okay, so that kind of thing may happen. So if you can recall from the previous classes, so there are a variety of secondary operations which are carried out in powder material part, like sizing, coining, then we have machining, then impregnation, okay, infiltration, then different plating, heat treatment, joining, etc. So these are some of the secondary operations which are generally done in powder metallurgy. Now we'll be now going through these particular different topics one by one. Okay, so by this time already we have studied about sizing, coining, etc., and machining. If you do you recall, we have already studied in details about sizing, coining, and machining, which are the secondary operations, some of the secondary operations which are involved in powder metallurgy. So let me know whether I should once again go through this particular sizing, coining, and machining, or you recall that we have already studied this thing. Just let me know, someone. Are you people here actively, or just you have just signed in and left this meeting? So by this time already this sizing, coining, machining, these things already have discussed. As none of you are saying anything, none of you are replying anything, maybe you people might not be here actively. So today we'll be starting with the other type of secondary process, starting from the impregnation. Now, we have already also studied about the self-lubricating properties, etc., which we can import in the powder metallurgical part, and the method by which generally we can do so. Okay, so that is nothing but a impregnation. Okay, what we do here, the sintered parts, it may be impregnated with oil, grease, or other wax or other lubricating materials. Okay, so that we can provide self-lubricating property to the part. Okay. If in the final part, powder metallurgical part, our intention itself is to provide some self-lubricating kind of property, so this sintered part, it can be impregnated with oil, grease, etc. Okay. And how generally we do, these parts are impregnated with whatever is the oil, lubricant, etc., and they are generally heated to approx 93 degrees centigrade. And what basically happens, we already know that this powder material part, actually, the powders are being compacted and then sintered and all. And some generally this powder maturity part, they are mostly porous structure. Okay, some pores are always there in between. Okay, so now in that particular case, whenever we are impregnating this particular part with some lubricants and heating it up to like this kind of temperature, then this porous structure, it gets this whatever is the porous structure that is there, so it gets impregnated with this particular whatever is the wax or the lubricant, okay, that we are using. Okay, sorry. So this lube, okay, lube or wax, whatever it is there, okay, the porous structure gets completely impregnated in, and it takes some time to get impregnated completely, like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what is the fluidity of this particular lubricant or wax, okay, what is the nature of porosity that is there, and like that. And as we have got this porous structure and all, so the lubricant will be retained in that particular part by some capillary action. We know that if you consider about the thickness, and if you know about this particular pore, okay, so suppose this way, if it is like thickness wise, if we consider, okay, so suppose these all of these are the these are exaggerated figure, okay, suppose all are the powder particle compacted. So if I extend this like this, okay, then we will see that suppose through the pores, okay, it will extend something like this, somewhere here, or like this everywhere. Okay, so it gives a kind of capillary. It forms something like capillary, and the lubricant will be retained in this particular part by some capillary action. Okay, and it requires sometimes even this insert part may be impregnated with even plastic. And when we generally do this, okay, so when we generally do this impregnation with plastic or other materials, generally it can improve the corrosion resistant property. Okay, and similarly, sometimes if we need to, as it is porous structure, if we need to properly seal that particular structure which prior to some plating operation, then also we can do that. And similarly, this will also improve the machinability characteristics of this particular part. Okay, if later on we need to do some optional secondary machining, etc. Okay, then it has to be done. If we do like that, okay, if we impregnate with plastic, etc., then the machinable property of that part also is improved, and we generally get continuous shift. I believe we have understood. Similarly, we have other operation known as the infiltration. Okay, it's not like the Bangladeshi infiltration. All of you have heard about Bangladeshi infiltration in Assam and in the northeast states. Okay, so something like that. That's it. Okay, it will something will infiltrate something. Now, but how the this infiltration is done? So in this case, a part is initially placed and it is centered from some iron powder, okay, to about 77% to 80% of its theoretical density. Okay, so it ranges from something 70 to 80. In some books, you may get 75 or something like that. Okay, so around this particular percentage, okay, of this theoretical density, generally it is placed to that. Okay, then what we do, then another infiltration, okay, that is nothing but a kind of replica blank of generally copper or brass material. It is placed over the part which is sent to the furnace. Okay. Now what will happen? Now the infiltrant will melt and it will be soaked through the porous part, and which will produce a density close to 100%. So initially about 77% that kind of density, theoretical density, which will receive through iron particles and all, and over it another replica blank will be placing it, okay, which will be made of copper or brass, okay, that itself is known as the infiltrant or infiltration, okay, and what will happen after that, we will send it to the furnace where basically the next step will follow, and during that the case, okay, during heating, okay, control heating, this copper or brass infiltrate, it will get melted, and the through the pores it will get soaked through the part, and that is going to produce a density which is close to that 100% density. And because of that, what will happen? So this infiltration actually provides increased strength, hardness, and density, which are generally not obtained by direct normal sintering, straight sintering operation. Okay, but this way, if we do the process, okay, this way if we do the sintering, then the increased strength, hardness, etc., can be achieved. Similarly, we can go for some plating operation. So plating operations, I believe all of you have already studied about all those electroplating and all. So that kind of plating occurs. That means a layer of some other material. Okay, it will be plated over that particular part. Okay, so and that is what is nothing but a plating. Okay, and this plating is generally done to impart a, sometimes we can give a very shining luster. Okay, so to impart a very pleasing appearance, copper plating, etc., that kind of plating is generally done. And similarly, corrosion resistant protect, coating, nickel will give. If you do nickel plating, then it is going to give you some corrosion resistant property to that particular part. Apart from that, nickel chromium plating, they also improve the wear resistance of that particular part, and frictional and hardness properties can be improved by tin plating and chromium plating, respectively. And similarly, if it is so desired that in the final part, suppose it was made of, initially made of, suppose less conducting, less electrically conductive material, so you can have copper, copper plating also. Okay, gold plating, sometimes copper plating or silver. Generally, as gold is somewhat costlier, so copper and silver plating. Okay, so it can also improve the electrical conductivity of that particular part. And whenever we are talking about doing a plating on the powder metallical part, okay, we know that these are kind of porous, right? The part are somewhat porous because by the powder metallurgy, whatever part we are producing, okay, through the, because of this particular, whatever is the process itself, whatever is the raw material and its structure, because of that itself, we are having some pores, okay. Now, for that, if the pores are there, then the plating property, okay, the plating operation, it might not be that much effective, that much efficient. So for that, before plating, what generally is done is that particular part is impregnated with certain plastic resin and all, so that the electrolyte rays will not get entrapped in the process during that particular process. Okay, in that particular whatever is the pore level. Understood up to this much?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Similarly, if required, we can even go for heat treatment of that part also. Okay, and as like all as with respect to other heat treatment, so sintered part also can be heat treated, and just like the desired effect of other heat treatment in processes. So here also the sintered parts can be heat treated, and it improves the wear resistance capability. Similarly, the grain structure also can be improved. Required type of grain can be obtained, hardness and strength properties can be also improved. Okay, but the thing is, we know that in heat treatment, okay, one of the properties, it is prone to oxidation. Yes, so that we already know. Now, to prevent oxidation of the internal structure, okay, generally what we do, the heat treatment has to be carried out in very controlled atmosphere. Otherwise, and sometimes we do it in inner atmosphere also. Sometimes like some other plating kind of thing we can have. Okay, so that is the thing. So some controlled atmosphere we have to produce. Okay, and like as we know that the sintered part, or definitely the powder material part, so they are, once again, we already know they are porous, and because of that particular porous, so actually the grains are not closely bound. That's why only they are porous. Okay, and it decreases the heat conductivity of this particular parts, because see, lattice to lattice or the grain to grain flow of heat, okay, if they are properly very if the uh, packing density is very good, then the conductivity also is always good. But as it is kind of porous structure that we have, so packing density is somewhat less, and because of that, the heat conductivity, like the porosity of the sintered part, it decreases the heat conductivity. So therefore, longer heating and shorter cooling periods will be required. Okay, then only what will happen, the grains, all the grains and all, okay, we can be sure that the heat, that whatever is the temperature at what you are doing the heat treatment and all, okay, so then only you can be sure that heat will be properly conducted throughout that particular part. Okay, and some of the heat treatment which are generally applied in parts which are made by other materials, the stress relieving, we do carburizing, carbonitriding, only nitriding,
through hardening, induction hardening, precipitation hardening, etc. So these are various type of heat treatment processes which are done depending on what kind of property you require, what kind of grain structure that you require on that final powder metallurgical part. So this heat treatment, it has got very effectiveness in like in producing a type of grain that you want. Okay, and like if, by properly controlling the heat treatment, okay, you can have sometimes you can even go for recrystallization. New grain can be grown, and it can be the like growth of the grain can be properly like as per your requirement of the particular service process. The growth of the grain, it can be either inhibited, or it can be proper growth can be given depending on what kind of process ultimately on which you are going to utilize that part of metallurgical part. Okay. So similarly, sometimes what makes happen that you may have to join some parts. Okay, and that is also possible, and that is not helped by joining. Okay, so sometimes the parts might have to be joined after they have been sintered, or maybe the joining may be then incorporated into the sintering operation itself. So like soldering, brazing, etc., all those kind of generally this kind of joining processes can be carried out in case of different parts which are being made by powder metallurgy. Like generally soldering on aluminum copper based parts. Okay, generally we perform soldering. Brazing can be carried out in vacuum or in controlled atmosphere, where some high frequency heating is generally preferred. Similarly, we can go for different TIG welding, like projection welding, electron beam welding, etc. also for joining purpose. So in that case, all of you already know the depending on what is the delicateness of this particular powder material part, you might have to select soldering, brazing, or depending on whatever is the ultimate strength that you require. Okay, on that final part. So you sometimes you may prefer welding. Okay, welding can give you more strength. And apart from that, you can always go through some other uh, processes which are somewhat closely associated with powder material, like some heat process, hot isosteric process, osprey process, etc. So, similarly, centrifugal compaction, which are also associated. Okay, so with this, basically, the whole module with respect to this powder metallurgy you have completed. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask, or if you have understood, let me know. Have you understood the things?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I'll be taking the attendance. You respond to your name calls, okay? And those who are active, you respond to your name calls. They will be getting the attendance, okay? So one by one, I will be calling the names. Porimal,
Yes, sir.
Harsha,
Yes, sir.
Sivanus,
Yes, sir.
Ansuman, Maren,
Present, sir.
Avinash. Maren, are you bathing or what? Are you in the bathroom, Maren?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Maren.
Sir, I
Avinash,
was washing my hands.
Present, sir.
Sampailer. Should I give you attendance to Maren?
Yes, sir.
Sampailer. Sampailer is here. No. Talk team.
Yes, sir.
Rajdeep,
Yes, sir.
Priyanus, Priyanus, Simanto, Simanto, Dizoras, Dizoras, Sukhbir, Sukhbir, Karan, Karan, Dixita, Dixita, no. Bhaskar,
Present, sir.
Farhan, Tamu,
Present, sir.
Bhargav,
Present, sir.
Priti, Pritiraj, Manas,
Yes, sir.
Ricolo, Ricolo, Balam,
Yes, sir.
Millo,
Present, sir.
Bebeto, Bebeto. Okay, anyone left out? Bebeto is not here. Ricolo not here. Pritiraj not here. Farhan not here. Rianu, Simanta, Dijaras, Sukhbir, Karan, Dixita not here. Sampiler absent. Angsuman absent. Okay. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining the class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We're ending the meeting now.